everybody, welcome to Soapbox Slam, where I get on my soapbox and I slam things that I see going on. Today I want to get on my soapbox about something that I don't know if a lot of people have spent a lot of time thinking about it, but I have spent a lot of time thinking about it because, you know, I travel a lot for work, I drive a lot for work, and I drive a lot commuting back and forth, not just from work, but living in Texas and living in Illinois. So I drive back and forth a lot between the two states, and you know, I've also seen a lot of different cities in the United States of America, different states, different countrysides in the United States. And I mean, I can't say that I've done exactly all 50 states in the union, but I've done I've done quite a bit of them. And what I've seen, I did a post a few days ago, or a little while ago. I think I uploaded it a while ago, but I did a post a few days ago about trash and littering, right? And this is kind of an extension of that, because as I've gone all over the countryside, driving everywhere from work and going back and forth home, between my two homes, and I drive along the countryside, I just see I see such a dilapidation, and a dilapidation not only just in our infrastructure, right? A complete falling apart and destruction of the country. Multiple cities, multiple places. I mean, I can name the places that we've all seen on television. You know, the Fergusons, the Ferguson, Missouri, the Flint, Michigan, and Gary, Indiana, and you know, I mean, you can go to places, Peoria, Illinois, Rockford, Illinois, you know, all of these places, and drive through the communities. Just drive. You don't even have to drive through the communities. Sometimes, you know, they put highways right in the middle of the cities, and you can just drive and see along the sides what's going on, right? And it's sad. It's sad that we, in all of these places, we collectively, black, white, Mexican, everything, men, women, everybody, we are not taking care of our country. We are not taking care of it. And, you know, we pay taxes and expect our representatives to do it, and our representatives are so corrupt that they're spending money, sending billions to other countries, and those countries look phenomenal and have free health care and have free education and everything else, but we're not taking care of our own countryside and everything else. So I'm on my soapbox today to talk about the dilapidation and destruction of the United States. I mean, I've even traveled a lot outside of the country, and I don't want to brag about how many stamps I have in my passport, but I will say I've seen a lot all over the world, and we are fortunate in America because we have more than what even our poor has more than what the poor in other countries have. But let's not get this twisted, and this is a lot of you people who have not traveled outside of the country. A lot of you guys are willfully ignorant or just ignorant, and I'm here to tell you that we are on the verge of just being another third world country. That's how disgusting and poor and how horrible we treat our country. To me, there are places in Cleveland and Cincinnati and Columbus. There are places in Illinois and Indiana, Gary. There are places, and I don't need to name even the urban cities. You can go out to the rural areas and see the exact same thing. People don't have enough money to take care of their stuff, and they're not being trained to take care of their stuff. And you know, that is a part of prosperity. And one of the reflections of prosperity is our cleanliness, right? And there's the old expression, cleanliness is next to godliness, right? Well, if God were to come down to this country and look at the countryside of the United States of America and drive through all these places, God would say that we are not clean people. And that's just me being honest. I mean, I'm just being honest about what I see going from city to city, state to state and everything else. It's disgusting. It's pathetic. We are practically a third world country, and our poor areas, not even our poor areas, look just as bad as the poor areas in other countries. But I will also make another note, and I have a solution to this. This is really what I'm on my soapbox about, and it's a thought that I've been having that I believe in. Okay. It's not just people not having enough money to take care of their stuff. And that's a major portion of it. And that would be the residential type issue, right? People don't make enough money to take care of the things that they have. They're so in debt to have what they have, house poor, or even apartment buildings. You pay $13,000, $23,000, $35,000 a month for an apartment building. And I look at this stuff. I mean, I've been apartment hunting, and I'm looking at this stuff, and I'm like, you want me to pay this price, and this place looks like shit? You just slapped some paint on, and you didn't even do a good paint job, and you want to charge me that much money for that? Really? For that? I mean, it's disgusting. And I'm sure as heck not going to pay an arm and a leg for renting a place, and it's not well kept, and it's not up to date, and it's just a trashy place that you want to charge that much money for. I'm not doing it. I'll figure something else out. But I want to talk also about not just our own residential issue, right? There is an issue of our own prosperity where we're not able to invest in our own stuff anymore, right? A huge difference from, the past to the present, is the idea of this prosperity and cleanliness being next to godliness. And back in those days, people made enough money to be able to take care of their properties. Certainly not today. And that's not a skill that people are investing in and doing. But what I'm on my soapbox about, and what I really want to talk about, and I hope you get through this long enough to hear me out. I believe, so it's not just them, it's also the companies and the corporations. They build all this stuff all over, warehouses, factories, and everything else. And, I drive through these towns, and all these old abandoned factories and everything else just still sitting there. Stuff just there, abandoned, left behind, everywhere, left and right. It's not indicative of Illinois. It's not indicative of Gary, Indiana. It's not indicative of Texas. It's not indicative. It's everywhere, especially with the corporations and what they build. I can promise you one thing right now. Amazon will fall at some point. And all these warehouses that they built will be abandoned and left behind. So it's amazing because politicians and everybody else give them these tax breaks. They come in, they don't pay taxes, they don't contribute to the community. And then when they shut down, they just pick up their personal stuff and then they leaving the buildings abandoned and everything else there, right? Just walking away from it. It's disgusting. For as much as you want to talk about residential people or poor people or middle-class people being uncleanly and all this other stuff, multiply that times 10 when it comes to corporations and businesses, because the trash that they leave behind and the messes that they leave behind when they abandon something is 10 times worse. It's way worse to the countryside, right? And so, I honestly feel one of the ways to solve this problem, right? Because it is really a bad problem all over, is for every corporation that builds something, if they are going to leave, they are required to tear down and restore that area back to its original condition. That means they have to pay for the demolition of that building. That means they have to replant all the trees and grass and everything else when they abandon that lot. And they should be required to do it by law. They built it. They had enough money to build it. They they did it off the backs of your taxes and everything else to come in and not pay taxes so they can build right there. Well, I believe since they're a part of the problem in how our countryside looks, and they are a major part of the problem of the dilapidation of America and everything else, we need to start making them be accountable for their actions and their behaviors. You want to leave this country and we'll put it in quotes, find cheaper labor, so you leave this country and go to cheaper labor, which is another conversation and a joke. But you want to go and do that, that's fine. But you're going to tear down the building that you built, and you're going to restore the land, that lot that you purchased or leased or whatever else. You are going to restore it back to its original condition with the trees and grass and everything else. And that is something that that our lawmakers and that our representatives ought to be focused on. Not fucking trying to convict Donald Trump, not fucking trying to convict Biden Hunter, not fucking doing this wishy-washy back and forth petty Republican Democrat bullshit. Do some real work that's advantageous to the people, not give $14 billion to a warring country that I've already made a post about that, but not give our tax dollars and our hard-earned money and our backs to another country. Y'all need to start making shit. You representatives need to start making shit that makes a difference in this country. Because I'm telling you now, drive along the countryside, drive all over. We are on the brink of a third world country. We look disgusting. We look poor. We look down and out. And that is our representation. And you want people to tout the flag and be proud when everything looks run down and dirty and disgusting? Have some fucking pride. Seriously. And that's not just to the people. That's to the representatives. I'm telling the representatives who pretend to love this country, y'all don't. You need to have some pride and start making laws and shit like that. Start cleaning this shit up. One of the most amazing things about what Giuliani did in New York City is he cleaned up the city, literally cleaned it. He shut shit down. He demolished stuff that was abandoned and left there, and he cleaned it up. These new lots brought in new companies and corporations that were able to come in and rebuild, and it just created an entire boom in New York City. All through the 90s, 2000s, even through Bloomberg's term. Part of that is what they did to clean up the city. It's a major thing. Joe Clark, right? Joe Clark in New Jersey, Patterson, New Jersey, changing the ethics and the culture of his school, right? I mean, they did a whole movie about it. Stand by Me. Yeah, Stand by Me, I think it was called. Where you know, Joe Clark was a principal of a rundown, beat up school, and the first thing he did when he came in was he cleaned the shit up, got rid of the trash, cleaned everything, cleaned the graffiti, just clean, right? Because there's a sense of pride, right? I mean, it's as simple as like when you make your bed and you clean your house, right? And when you walk in and you wake up in the morning or you come home after work and it's clean, you feel good, right? It's just an internal feeling of feeling good. But when you walk in and there's trash everywhere and, you know, baby hasn't cleaned up and it's just a mess, it internally feels like your life is a mess. Things are a mess. What do you think in the larger, like that's a micro, that's a micro environment, right? Well, what is going to do in the macro environment, right? The larger environment, everywhere we drive, everywhere we look, we see dilapidation, abandonment, everything else. Yeah, I mean, there's some areas that are completely put together and nice, but I'm talking about the stuff that we do see that is abandoned, the stuff that we do see that is dilapidated, the stuff that we do see that is just completely destroyed and run down. I mean, something's got to give. Something has to give. People need to make more money and have prosperity. Everyday people need to make more money and have prosperity so they can take care of their stuff, take care of their roofs, take care of their neighborhoods, take care of their lawns, take care of their siding, take care of all this stuff. They need to be able to make enough money to be able to take care of this stuff. And I don't know for sure, but I know like in Germany they have like these HOAs too, and these HOAs are, I mean, they are stringent about everybody, taking care of their stuff and making things, look right. And I kind of applaud that. I mean, it's a little Gestapo, and it's a little keep up with the Joneses, and everybody be cookie cutter. And I don't think that we should all be cookie cutter, but we should all be clean. And that's on the individual, residential, kind of personal individual level. When we start talking about what the corporations have done to destroy our countryside, there needs to be some sort of legislation against it. They want to leave this country and go build in factories for so-called cheaper labor. I question that, but if they really want to do that, fine, go. But you are gonna demolish the building that you built. You laid off all these people and desolated this whole community with your, economic entrance and your economic exit, right? Okay, well, you know what? That lot that you were on, you're gonna repair it and restore it back to normal. Hands down, required by law. You build, you're required to tear it down and everything else. You cannot just abandon a building. We punish people for abandoning cars. We punish people for individuals for their stuff. Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And politicians need to start going after these corporations that build this stuff and then abandon it. It needs to be demolished and restored back to its original form. So that means they need to plant some shit. They need to put some grass in, and they need to get rid of all the building material and everything else there. They should be responsible for that. And that's what I'm on my soapbox about. It's not just the residential people who need to take care of their stuff, but the corporations that are here too, the businesses that are here too, they need to be responsible and take care of their stuff. And when they leave, they need to be responsible for demolishing that building and restoring it back to normal. I would love to see a politician start talking about stuff like this. I would love to see politicians start working for the American people and creating legislation that regulates corporate behavior, and not just dollars and cents, but things like what they leave behind, like these nasty buildings that you see left and right all over our countryside, warehouses, tons of places demolished, abandoned left and right, still standing, beat up, run down. I mean, it's just, imagine all the health issues that fester because they remain there. Imagine what would be better in our society if the lots were returned back to normal and you were at a clean slate for another company to come in and take the lot. So I think that should be the responsibility of the corporation that's there. If they're leasing the land or whatever else, they built on it, it's their responsibility, period. So that's what I'm on my soapbox today about. Think about it. Try to see my side on that and help me come up with solutions to the problem, because it's a problem. And, the only two solutions that I see right now, and I would love to hear more, is that people need to be more prosperous. One solution is people become more prosperous, or the prices of things go down. We don't have to raise people's rates. Make the price of things go down so that people have more money. And when people have more disposable money, I know I was trained that way. But if I have more disposable money, I'm dumping it back into my house and fixing my house and making things better on my house and my landscape and everything else. Like, that's what I do, right, with my stuff, right? And I feel like if more people had more money in their pockets, they would do more things to their homes to make their homes better. I believe that. So that's what my suggestion to fix the problem on the individual level. But on the more corporate level and everything else, politicians need to start making them accountable. And one of the ways the second solution, one of the ways you can make them accountable is if they leave or whatever else, since they came in and got all these tax breaks, they will be required to demolish the building that they built and restore the environment back to what it was before they entered. And that's what I think is fair across the board. So that's what I'm on my soapbox about. Y'all have a wonderful day. Be kind, be good, and I'll see you soon.